What is up, everyone? Welcome to another FPL video. Today we are going to be answering one of the most asked questions that I've seen on Twitter, and that is, when do I use my chips? I've got this many chips and I don't know when to use it. When can I use it? We're going to have a look. But before we go into that, let me just tell you that it's very team dependent on when you use your chips. All completely team dependent. And if you want really specific questions, put it down in the comments, and I'll try and answer to my best of my best ability. And we'll also do a couple live streams if you need, and we can kind of like help you guys out as well. So having said all of that, let's get into when can I use my chips. Now, this chart right here is from Legomane at FPL. His @ is also on the picture. Go follow him. He's done whole like predictions in terms of where, not a predictions, but he's just shown the current fixture ticker in terms of how it looks like, and also we've got the postponed matches that need to be rescheduled, and the potential FA Cup postponements are also there mentioned. Now keep in mind, just behind me is Aston Villa, Leicester and Everton. Those fixtures are right there for Burnley to play, for Norwich to play, and for Brentford to play. So it's just covered right behind my camera. No biggie, like there you go. So those are the only three fixtures covered, but not a big issue. I'll tell it to you guys when needed. Now, what do we know so far? Now this is sorted, I think, by a fixture difficulty and also based on matches and everything. City right at the top. They've got Burnley this week, followed by European Champions League fixture against Atletico Madrid. Game week 32, they've got Liverpool, and next game is again the next second leg of the Champions League fixture against Atletico. Game week 33, you can see right now, their game, it was considered to be a double game week, but now it's no longer a double game week because they've got their FA Cup fixture, and that's against Liverpool, and the Premier League game is against Brighton. So that's how it's kind of going, and that's how most of these fixtures are also written. You can see at the bottom, FA Cup semi-final, FA Cup final, and Champions League finals. Or is that Europa Cup? That's probably Europa Cup. Yeah, that's probably Europa League. So we're going to have a look in terms of how you can probably, when is the best time to use your chips. Now, let's start with maybe Wildcard. Wildcard will be our first discussion. There are two, if you have a Wildcard chip left, there are two possible places where you can play your Wildcard chip. One is Game Week 31 right now. During the international break, you can try and build up a wildcard squad, and we will do a wildcard video as well this Friday. I'll do a wildcard video looking at a possible wildcard draft. Not maybe one, maybe a couple wildcard drafts for Game Week 31. That will be enough to take you from 31 to maybe about 35 at least. Because after that, we don't know. It's going to be depending on team fixture schedules and everything. So we'll try and make a wildcard where it prepares you for 33, the doubles in 36, and maybe in 35 as well. So wildcard, you can play it in 31, or the next best option right now, by the looks of it, would be either 34 or 35. I think 35 is probably the better option, mainly because we're expecting double game weeks in 35 and a massive double game week in 36. And also for the other reason being that, as you guys can see, the first leg of the European fixtures is just before game week 35, right? And then by then we kind of would have an idea, if let's say Chelsea, Liverpool, City, if they've gone through to the next round of the European fixtures, we can probably get an idea of what their first leg score is like. How did it go? If one side has taken a massive lead, we can kind of expect not too much rotation in game week 35. But at the same time, when you look at the opponents that City, Liverpool, Chelsea, all of them play in game week 35, you kind of go, okay, they're most likely going to rotate heavily in game week 35 because of that. Because they got Leeds, Newcastle, Everton, so they could potentially rotate heavily. So we kind of have to consider all of that. So that's something that you might have to consider. But in terms of wildcard, game week 31 or game week 35 right now seems to be the best possible options, especially if you've got a bench boost left. Then maybe game week 35 wildcard with a game week 36 bench boost could be a pretty good option. Now, let's go into bench boost. Now, bench boost chip, a lot of people have been talking that maybe game week 33 could be a good bench boost chip because we don't know what the fixtures are like for game week 35, 36, and 37. We could have doubles in all three of those game weeks, and we don't know what the doubles will be. But we know what the doubles are for 33. Now, some people might already have teams that are kind of already set up for having a significant amount of double players for game week 33. If you got Leicester players in game week 30, they have a double in 33, Newcastle, Everton. If you've got Arsenal players, triple Arsenal, they have a double in 33. You probably have a few Newcastle players as well. They've also got a double in 33. Southampton, you might have, has a double. Some people have Weghorst, Burnley playing double. So you might have double game week players. And you might also have really good single game week players. Because if you look at the single game week fixtures, City are playing Brighton. Liverpool are playing United. Could be a good fixture depending on what United turns up. Chelsea are playing Arsenal. Could be a cage fixture, that one. What's the other good teams? Those are the three good teams basically. And they've all got pretty decent fixtures in terms of single game weeks. And we know the likes of like Trent, Robertson, Cancelo, like the expensive fullbacks can get good hauls, like premium high big hauls as well. So that is a possibility for them. Even though the fixtures may seem a bit more harder for Chelsea and Liverpool, but City's one is a pretty good one against Brighton. So we kind of had to consider that as well, where that is why people are thinking game week 33 bench boost could be an option, especially if, let's say, you didn't make a transfer in game week 30, then you probably have 2 free transfers for 31. People are thinking of maybe doing a -4 this week, so you play your 2 free transfers and a -4, make 3 transfers if you wanted to try and bring in any players that you need for the doubles in 33, and then also rotate your roll your transfer in 32, and then in 33 you do another 3 transfers with a -4 as well. So you take a -8 to try and bring in as many double game weeks as you want. Again, this is very team dependent. It depends on your team and where your team structure is. Maybe if you don't have some of the players already, maybe bench boost is not for you. And maybe if you have a free hit could be the game week, like that could be where you play that chip. Apart from 33 for a bench boost, I think the next best option for a bench boost is going to be 36. In game week 36, we could potentially be seeing about 10 teams doubling, right? 10 teams doubling in game week 36, which means you'll probably have at least 11 players. Probably you'll have 11 players having double game weeks. And out of those 11, I think a majority of the bigger teams are expected to kind of have double game weeks. So we're expecting the likes of City, Liverpool, Chelsea all to have double game weeks during 36, which means your bench and your first 11 for 36 could be pretty strong. And that could actually be a much better week to bench boost, but we still don't know what the fixtures will look like, which is why people are kind of thinking we'll do bench boost in 33 and free hit in 36, so vice versa. Now, what are the cons of using a bench boost in 33 compared to 36? Well, you're going to have probably single game week players on your game week 33 team in terms of a bench boost. In game week 36, you could potentially have 15 double game week players. Your entire squad could potentially be double game week players. So that's the pro versus the con in terms of using the bench boost in 33 compared to maybe 36. The other thing is, okay, so that's the bench boost in terms of when you could probably use it. Now, the other option is people will be looking to use a free hit, right? A free hit could be used in either game week 33, 35, 36, or even 37. We don't know. It depends on how the fixtures line up for 35, 36, and 37. But we won't know that, and we probably might not get that information before game week 33. which is why people are leaning more towards the bench boost, because they kind of know what's going to come. It's easier to plan when you know what fixtures are coming. Now, the pros to playing a free hit in game week 33 compared to 36 means that you can play the bench boost in 36 if you had the bench boost as well left. If you didn't have a bench boost at all and you had only one chip and it was a free hit, then you could potentially play that in 36, and you might have a higher upside of playing that in 36 rather than playing it in 33. If you had only one chip left and it was a free hit, you probably have higher upside in playing that in 36 compared to 33, because you might already have players for 33. But let's say you had free hit and bench boost, right? If you have free hit and bench boost, this is where you kind of have to evaluate your risk versus reward. Do you want to go high risk, high reward? You could potentially do that. The high risk, high reward is the fact that you could potentially fill a majority of double game week players in your starting 11 on a free hit. You could bring in the likes of United players as well, United attackers, which you might not want to get before 33, and you might want to get rid of as well after 33. So you could do that on a free hit. But the negative side, right, is that you might sometimes have to let go of the good single game week players. Like we mentioned, Chelsea have a tough fixture against Arsenal. Liverpool probably could have a tough fixture against United, could also have an easy fixture against United. It depends very much on what United turns up. City could have a pretty decently easy fixture against Brighton. We know Liverpool and City are both fighting for the league, so they're probably going to put out strong squads in those games. Especially Liverpool, they'll put out a really strong squad against United, right? Now, the negative side of playing the free hit in 33 is that you might miss out on some of those single game week players. You might choose to go without them, and they could haul big time, and then that is a big problem in terms of rank. Rank will get affected quite a bit, because the ability of those single game week players that you're dropping compared to the double game week players that you're bringing in, we're not really sure if the double game week players will be able to cover the potential explosiveness from those single game weeks. Like, you will probably bring in what? Let's take, for example, Burnley have a double game week. You're going to bring in Weghorst. You're going to drop a double game week player. Are you going to drop one of Cancelo, Trent, Robertson, Salah, even Luis Diaz right now, to bring in? They'll be playing one game to bring in Weghorst, who's playing West Ham and Southampton, where those single game week players could potentially outscore Weghorst, who would play 2 games. So that's the kind of thing you have to kind of consider, whether you're going to be willing to do that, where you're going to be willing to drop a few single game week players to try and bring in some double game week players, right? That's for free hit. That's the negative side of free hit in 33. The positive side is you can bring in some of the United players that you probably don't want, like I mentioned, that you don't want to have on other weeks. You could also target like a Leicester set of players. Like, if you don't have Leicester players already and you didn't go on game week 30, you could target them for game week 33, because after that you probably don't want them, because in 35 they play Spurs, 34 they play Aston Villa. Could be a very tricky one. But between all of that, after 34 and before 36, they've got Europa League as well. So if they're still in the Europa League by then, they'll be focusing on that very heavily. So because of that, you probably don't want Leicester players for a long run. So free hit, you can take them in for 1 week for the double, and then get rid of them after, right? So those are some of the things that you have advantages of. You can target teams that you don't want to target, or you don't want to bring in, right? You might not want to bring in what? United players before game week 33. You might not want to bring in Leicester as well, because they've got in 32 they got Crystal Palace, but between the 2 fixtures of Crystal Palace, they have a Europa League fixture against PSV. They might rotate significantly against Crystal Palace, so you don't really want to bring in Leicester players much more earlier than 33. So because of that, you could probably, that's the advantage of free hit 33, is that you can bring those players in for that one single game week, and then you don't have to worry. You don't have to adjust your squad as well in the lead up to that to try and navigate through this and bring these players in. You could target the more single game week players. You could target City assets. You could target Liverpool assets. You could target Chelsea assets, who all have a single game week in 33, but have good fixtures as well in 32, 34. Okay, maybe not Liverpool and City because they face each other, but Chelsea good fixtures. So you could target those kind of teams as well. Although you probably want to kind of you probably don't want to go too hard on those teams because of the fact of the Champions League fixtures. Chelsea, Liverpool, City all have Champions League fixtures as well. So the possibility of rotation in 31 and 32 is also quite high. So it makes it a very tricky few game weeks to navigate as well, especially if you're trying to bring in players for the bench boost, as well as trying to bring in players on a bring players for the bench boost is a bit more tricky to navigate. You're going to play free hit and you're trying to target 31, 32. It's a bit more also tricky to navigate in terms of you're not sure whether your players will start or not because of the Champions League fixtures, right? So, but I guess the advantage is you probably can wait for like some early team news or like all of that, and based on that, you can probably make your transfers if you're targeting game week by game week. Now, what's the advantage of playing your free hit in 36 or 35 or 37 compared to 33? Well, if you play it in 36, you possibly can get more double game week players of higher quality into your team, which means you can get double game weeks of City, United also possibly, Liverpool, Chelsea. You can get high quality players in your team on a free hit in 36. What's the disadvantage? Well, it's most likely the bench boost players are also going to have those players in. Like anyone playing the bench boost chip will be having those players, and they'll be having a bench full of double game week as well. So they're going to be having significantly more players, along with the same free hit that you might be bringing in. That's the one disadvantage of playing a free hit in 36. Playing a free hit in 35, 37 is very dependent on the fixtures. I am not too fond of playing a free hit in 35 because of those Champions League fixtures and Europa League fixtures that surround game week 35. But 37 though could be a decent one to play a free hit, especially if you bench boost in 36. Usually the next week after your bench boost, your team isn't in the best of situations. So if you wanted a free hit after a bench boost, that could also work. And if you wanted to target any doubles that come in 37, you could do that as well. The risk with trying to play a free hit in 37 is there might not even be free hits. Like there might not be there might not be too many double game weeks in 37 where it's kind of worth to keep the free hit, right? That's the one thing we don't know. But then the thing is, we probably might get to know a bit of information with regards to how many fixtures are left to be rescheduled based on game week 35 and 36. But it's a bit hard to figure out whether we have enough of fixtures in 37 or not. Now, to help you with all of that, I've got another slide, thanks to the real Nimi. So this is Johansson, I believe. Johans on Twitter. I've added his as well. So he's done a video. I'm not a video. So he's done a chart over here based on Ben Krelin's suggestions, based on listening to Planet FPL, based on FPL review and all of that. The fixture, he's just made like a fixture probability of the remaining fixtures that we're not sure on where they're going to be scheduled, and kind of look at where they could be potentially scheduled, right? So Tottenham versus Arsenal could go in game week 36. We could have there. Everton versus Crystal Palace also looks like 36. In terms of 37, seems like United versus Chelsea could be in 37, which could probably be favorable if you had a free hit chip for 37. Could work out, but then it's most likely that you already have a triple Chelsea, because Chelsea could have another double in 36 as well. So you potentially already have your Chelsea players for game week 36. So you'll just probably have to bring in United players in for 37. Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace could end up on 37. Southampton versus Liverpool could end up on 37 as well. So a lot of fixtures here could end up on 37, especially from the bigger teams. But these bigger teams also have fixtures in 36, double game weeks in 36, because there could be possibilities for more FA Cup, based on the FA Cup results, based on Champions League schedule as well. Some of the fixtures could get rearranged in 36, 35, 37. So based on all of that, we could probably see more fixtures get adjusted around. Like Wolves versus City could be a double game week in 36, and then City play West Ham in a double game week in 37. So the big teams have doubles in 36. Like you can see, Chelsea will play Leicester 36, United, Chelsea in 37. So Chelsea have doubles, back-to-back doubles. Chelsea, so Liverpool, right? Liverpool versus Aston Villa, double game week in 36. Liverpool play Southampton in 37. So the free hit for 37 might not necessarily be too effective, because you could potentially already have enough of double game week players to put out for game week 37. So you're not really getting much upside by probably saving a free hit till then, because you potentially already have enough of double game week players going into 37 as well. So which means you could potentially play a free hit in 35. Another free hit in 35. The only problem with that is we don't know. Oh no, the only problem with that is in terms of trying to set up a bench boost is not easy, because remember, when you play a free hit, any transfers you made don't take into account for the team in 36, which means you also lose the possibility of a free transfer that you could have used to bring in a player to strengthen a bench boost, right? So that has a slight negative impact in terms of trying to play a free hit just before a bench boost, because you lose that one free transfer which you could have used to bring in a player who could play a double game week in 36. But we kind of have to see how the fixtures go. Maybe there is still some merit to playing a free hit in 37, even though you might have some of the players, or you might have a full 11 of double game, because already you could potentially get a few other double game because who could potentially be differential picks, right? You could get a few differential picks maybe for 37 to try and get an edge maybe over the competition. So that's basically the chip strategy. 31, 34 good for wildcard. 33, 36 good for bench boost. Free hit chip. You had one free hit chip. And if you had one free hit chip and a bench boost, I think I'll play 33, 36. But I can see why people will do the other way around as well. Although if the fixtures go like they are, it's probably better to bench boost in 36 and 30, then like continue that team into 37 rather than free hitting, because you're most likely going to need the same players that you get in 36 for 37 as well, which means it kind of leans more towards your game week 33. So one free hit chip, probably 33 is a good option. 35 could also maybe be decent, but like I mentioned, the cons, there is that possibility of you lose that one free transfer to strengthen a bench boost if you had a bench boost. If you don't have a bench boost, then it's fine. If you don't have a bench boost, you can play it. If you don't have a bench boost at all, you play your doubles in 36. You play a free hit in 36 if you don't have a bench boost at all. If you had a bench boost and a free hit, then you kind of have to decide where you want to play it. If you had two free hits like me and a bench boost, it gets a bit complicated, because I'm thinking I'll free hit in 33, I'll definitely bench boost in 36. It's that other free hit where I don't know where to use it. I could potentially use it on 37 to try and get a few differentials, or I could potentially use it in 35. Although that will mean I lose out on that one transfer. Unless, however, I have already built a team that is decent enough to manage the doubles and a bench boost possibility in 36. So it all depends on how the fixtures are scheduled from 34 onwards. We don't know. Worst case, you play the free hit in game week 38. If you're on two free hits and a bench boost. That's the one thing I'm not sure where you actually play that second free hit. Right now, I'm leaning towards game week 37. But things could change. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about it. This is just a huge video of just me rambling about things of where you could probably play your chips. It's very team dependent, which is why it's very hard to answer a question like this. But I hope I tried to kind of give you my thought process and tell you what I'm thinking, and hopefully that helps you as well. Let me know down in the comments what you guys are thinking. I'll be doing a wildcard video. That's a much more easier thing to explain. A wildcard video and a much more easier thing to plan. This Friday, it'll be out this Friday. Let me know if you guys want that to be a live stream or not. If it's not going to be live, if no one comments about it and wants it as a live stream, if there are not many people who want it as a live stream, we won't do it, and I'll just record a video and put it out on Friday. If there are a few people who want it as a live stream, then we'll do it as a live stream and work together on a couple wildcard drafts, right? So let me know down in the comments what you guys are thinking. Thank you all for watching. If you are new, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well, and I'll catch you all on Friday.